Are you ready for the rubber to hit the road? This is going to be a little tough, just so you know.
Oh yeah, just do her.
All right.
Rip off that bandit,
Who
sir.
is responsible for the violent men being in your life?
My mom,
Your mother.
ultimately.
That's right. And all of the adults around, right?
The adult, like I was gonna say family, but ultimately my mom.
Right. So all the anger and rage and revenge that you feel towards these men has its source in who? Who are you really angry at?
It would have to be the person responsible.
Your mother.
Right.
Now, what is the maximum level of anger you have expressed as an adult towards your mother?
Not a lot.
Okay, so 1 to 10, 1 being a mild irritation, 10 being like, I don't know, yelling full voice. What have you got to with regards to your mother?
Say that again, sir. Sorry.
So from 1 to 10, like 1 being mild annoyance, 10 being, I don't know, full voiced yelling, what number would you say is the maximum you've gotten? Like 1, 5, 10?
Oh. 2,
2. Okay.
3.
All right. And how often have you gotten angry and expressed that anger towards your mother?
It just is a couple times.
Okay. Who else is responsible for your childhood?
Me?
No, we're never responsible for our childhood. We don't choose what family we're born into, right? We just try and survive whatever we're born into.
I guess it'd be my donor.
Your father, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your father as well, right? He knew your mother was very unstable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he should have checked in. You can't just walk away, right?
Right.
And there were other adults as well who should have helped out, right? And shouldn't have just mocked you for being a white guy.
Right.
Now, you and I both know that if anyone did 0.01% of what was done to you to one of your children, you'd be murderous. I'm not saying you would kill
Correct.
someone, but you would want to.
No, I would. No, I would. But yeah, correct.
Okay. So this is the disconnect. Where does all the anger go that you feel towards how you were raised? If you don't feel it, where does it go?
To
Doesn't
everyone
disappear,
else.
right?
To everyone else.
Where does it go?
Well, I keep most of it inside, I guess. I self-internalize it.
Okay, so anger not applied to its proper object goes to other objects of convenience. So, I mean, the typical example, I'm sure you've seen this cartoon, the boss yells at the dad. Does the dad yell back at the boss?
No.
No. What does he do? He goes home and what happens?
He'll take it out on his family.
Yeah, he'll yell at his wife. Now, if his wife is scared of him, does the wife yell back at her husband? No, she yells at the eldest child yells at the youngest child kicks the cat, right?
Right.
So if you feel angry, but you cannot express your anger, or you won't express your anger, it goes to a convenient object. Like the psycho who smashed your Nintendo controller or put his fist through the table because you weren't getting the math, and right? It's a convenient object.
Okay.
It's like if you put a dam on a river, it doesn't stop the flow of water, it just pushes it elsewhere, right? If it can flow around or whatever it is, or it just gathers up if you build a really high dam, right? But it doesn't stop the flow of water, it just reshapes it. So what happens to anger that we don't feel towards its proper object? Which is why I was probing so hard about how you could just break bread and be cordial to your grandmother, who horribly abused your mother, and your mother, who horribly abused you. Well, are you allowed to get angry at your mother?
Of course.
Okay. Were you allowed to get angry at your mother when you were growing up?
No.
Okay. What would have happened in your mind's eye, or what did you fear would happen if you expressed anger at your mother? Because you were certainly allowed to express anger at other people, right? You got into fights, you beat up the guy with your friends who stole your mother's jewelry and so on. So you absolutely could express your anger. But what would have happened if you'd have gotten really angry at your mother and said, "Stop bringing these lunatic psycho assholes into the house"? What would
I would have been maybe reprimanded, or maybe I would have been scared I would see her less than I already do.
What would she have done if you had said that? Would she have said, "You know what, you've really got a point. I've got to figure this stuff out because this is not good for you and it's certainly not good for me"? Would she have been reasonable about it?
I think so.
I don't think so. You
No?
knew her very well. And are children born being honest with their upset? In other words, do babies cry?
Yeah.
Right. So we are born having a full channel to express our upset, right?
Yeah.
And you certainly could express your anger in other circumstances and situations. Why could you not express your anger towards your mother? What did you fear would happen if you expressed your anger with your mother?
I don't know. I just never had outbursted like that with her. Maybe she would have.
But you
yelled
understand that
back
you had every reason to, right? She kept bringing these dangerous lunatics who could have fucking killed you and threatened to. She brought these men into her house and had sex with them and kept them around. To your understanding. Now, of course, as adults, we can look back and say her child, but I'm talking about your childhood understanding.
Right.
So, is it fair to say you had reason to be angry with your mother for not choosing a better father for you? This long-haired doofus who's like, hey, what did he call you? Pipsqueak? Squirt? No, it was something else. Munchkin. Thank you. Hey, Munchkin, what's up? Right. So she bought these. She had a sad sack of a dad for you. She brought army guy. She brought weightlifting guy. She brought psycho guy. Well, they're all kind of psycho, right? And this was years and years and years of your childhood, right?
It was my childhood.
Yeah. So you got really good reason to be angry with your mother and your grandmother, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not express it? And please understand, I'm not criticizing you. I think it was very wise that you didn't express it, but you have to know why. Why didn't you say anything? Why are you willing to beat a guy up with your friends for stealing some stupid jewelry, which doesn't really matter, but a guy who threatens your life, you can't even get angry at, well, him obviously not because he'll fucking kill you, but why can't you get angry at your mother for bringing this lunatic into your house and leaving you alone with him for a lot of time because she's working 3 jobs and he's kind of hanging around like a lazy lout, right? So you got reason to be angry with your mom. Why did my childhood have to be so fucking terrifying and dangerous because you like banging criminals? It's selfish on her part. If she's got a fetish for criminals, she shouldn't bring them home. Everybody knows that, right? That's not subtle. That's not complicated, right? It's not quantum physics. So you have every reason to be angry at your mother who indulged her sexual tastes in violent men, which we can have some sympathy for, obviously, right? I mean, she was sexually assaulted as a teenager on the streets and sexually assaulted at home by these creepy men that but so we can have sympathy, but we can also say she knows exactly what it's like to be on the receiving end, so she should make sure she never reproduces it for her own children, right?
Right.
So she had responsibility there too, as well as we can understand the trauma. But I'm not a dominoes guy. I'm not a determinism guy. The fact that these things happened to your mother could have made her very protective, not put you in the same fucking danger, or maybe even worse danger, right?
Right.
So why was it impossible to express any anger towards your mother? Because if you had expressed anger, let's just play this one out. If you had expressed anger towards your mother and said, Mom, whatever you're doing with these men, stop it. Get them the fuck out of the house. They're going to get one of us killed. I don't care what makes you tingle, Mom. You've got to stop this shit. You've got to. And if you don't get these men out of the house and stop bringing more in, I'm calling the cops. I'm calling Child Protective Services. I'm getting somewhere else. Right? Now, if you put your foot down with your mom, and again, this is a pure fantasy, right? What was your fear?
Yeah. Of being abandoned?
Well, that's what I'm asking. You had a reason for not doing it. We need to know what that reason is. Otherwise, your behavior is incomprehensible. And it's not incomprehensible. We just don't know the reason.
Because social services would take me away from my mom, like they did to my cousin.
Okay. So let's say you were facing down a guy who was threatening to murder you, if I remember rightly. He said, I'll cut your head off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Help me understand. Your mother took to the streets to survive her hellscape. Why is social services worse than a guy threatening to saw your head off, ISIS style?
I don't know.
I know, but it's an interesting question, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just not. I don't know.
Okay, let me try another one. Let's game this one out. So we'll call the truly psycho guy who threatened to cut your head off, let's call him Bob, all right? Now, if you had gone after Bob threatened to saw your head off and smash the table, threw you up the stairs, if you had gone to your mom and said, get him out, what were you concerned would happen? What might have happened now with a dull understanding looking back? What might Bob have done?
Bob would have
when
killed
your mom
us.
said, Bob, you're out. My son won't put up with our relationship.
He would have killed us.
Right. So one of the reasons you didn't get angry at your mom, because he could have killed you, set fire to the house, and taken off for the prairies, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you did not get angry at your mother for fear of murder, right? Or he might murder her, kidnap you, whatever, right? I mean, and for those, for people listening to this later, like, this is not theoretical. This is not paranoid. This is real stuff. Because, I mean, he went on a violent spree later after being hunted by your family, right?
Yeah.
Or in the process of being hunted by your family. Okay. So what about Soldier Boy, the military guy who kind of lost it towards the end, who was in the gang, the motorcycle gang? If he, a highly trained killer who was spider walking above you in the ceiling in some completely ring-based crypto manner, what might he have done if your mom kicked him to the curb? And he said, well, why? And she says, oh, my boy here doesn't want the relationship. He's scared of you. He thinks you're a dangerous lunatic. Then what happens?
He left.
Yes.
But it wasn't because I said it, but he was a danger, and she said, pick one, and he picked the other, and he left.
Sorry, pick one? I don't know what that means.
Well, pick your lifestyle of bikers and violence, or pick my son and I, and he picked violence.
Okay. That was your mother being assertive. Now, so he could have been gotten out if you'd gotten angry with your mother, right?
Correct.
Now, he was the first, Bob was the second, weightlifter guy was the third. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. What about weightlifter guy? What if he, with the drug dealing, the cocaine does not help people make very good decisions. Cocaine guy, weightlifter guy, steroid guy. What if your mother had tossed his ass out on your say-so?
He was clingy, but he wasn't allowed back. And I think he would have respected her wishes, because he never came back, and he never did what
he was
other
arrested.
guys did. Right, he went to prison.
Maybe that's why he didn't come back. Sorry to be annoying.
But ultimately, yeah, because, after doing 8 years, almost 10 years.
Okay, so from a child's perspective, was it very dangerous to get angry with your mother?
She was never violent to me, so I could have. It wasn't dangerous. I didn't feel danger with her.
Well, a danger for children is not violence. What is the greatest danger for children?
Abandonment.
Right. We can survive being beaten up. We can't survive being abandoned, because children cannot survive in the wild, right? And even if we were to somehow survive in the wild on our own, we can't reproduce because there's no other people around, right?
Right.
So our genes fear abandonment and rejection worse than violence.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you were afraid of violence towards your mother, and you were afraid that these psychos would be violent towards your mother. And, of course, the death of a parent starts every stupid Disney film and also is akin to a death threat against a child. But the real danger for children is maternal abandonment, maternal rejection.
Right.
So if you'd have said to your mother, you cannot date because all the men you choose are terrible and you owe your child security, which you cannot provide because your romantic desires, to put it as nicely as possible, run in extremely the wrong direction. So you have to swear to me that you will stop dating. No guys for you. Put down the hormones, take a step back from the bed, and take a cold shower for the next 10 years. If you say to your mother, choose between sex and dating and me, what would she choose? Or what were you afraid that she would choose? And we have evidence for this, by the way. We have proof, actually. What did your mother choose, knowing it was bad for you? Let me know if we're still on. Oh, did his Bluetooth run out of power? Well, that's a shame. Hopefully he will return.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Did you hear what
I did not. Go ahead.
Oh. Well, she would have just chose more of the same.
Right. So your mother was choosing sex with criminals over your safety. She was willing to put your life on the line to satisfy her sexual desires. That is the most horrifying kind of rejection that you could have. Like, you could understand some godforsaken situation, some Les Miserables situation where some woman has to become a prostitute in order to give her child food and so on, but she didn't need to do that. This was lust. And again, tormented, tortured, terrible childhood. But I'm talking about your view and perspective as a child. As a child, how did you explain to yourself, I'm not saying you do this consciously, how did you explain to yourself why your mother was bringing these brutal sex toys into the house? Why would she do it? Why would she put your life at risk? Why would she bring these men home? What was your thoughts or feelings about that? Why? Why are these men here? Why are these terrifying, violent, dangerous, horrifying men, why are they in my mother's bed? Why are they in my house?
I don't know.
I know you don't know, but as a child, the greatest danger in your life, which could have easily ended your life, was brought home by your mother. Why did you think at the time? What was the reason for these men being in your life, threatening your life?
There was no rhyme, or there's no logic to it. I don't know. I just was surviving.
Okay. If your mother had loved you, would she have brought these men home?
I guess not. I mean, your mom says she loves you.
No, I don't care what she says. Anyone can say anything. I'm a chameleon. Oh, look, I'm still the same color. All right. If your mother had loved you, would she have brought these men home?
If I love my children, I won't bring that person home.
If your mother had loved you, sorry to be annoying, if your mother had loved you, would she have brought these men home?
No.
If your mother had loved you, would she have made sure that men she brought home were safe around her children, or her child, sorry?
If she loved me, yes.
If your mother loved you, would she ask you, hey, how's it going with Bob? Are you guys doing okay? What's happening? Is he good to you? Does he treat you well? If your mother had loved you, would she have asked or given a shit about what your experience was of her psycho boyfriends? You've gone quiet again, unless you're saying something I can't hear.
Oh, sorry. It was never a topic.
Okay, that's very abstract. I'm sorry to be annoying.
I know. We never had the conversation.
If your mother had loved you, would she have made sure you were safe by asking you questions after bringing these dangerous criminals that she knew were dangerous criminals home?
Yeah.
Ergo, she did not love you. Simple as. I'm an empiricist. I don't care what people say. By your fruits shall ye judge them. Your mother did not love you. That's why you couldn't get angry at her. Because love is the container for anger. My wife and I love each other. We can get angry with each other, knowing it will not disturb our love. And in fact, not being honest with each other will harm our love. Because the only reason we're not honest with people is because we are frightened of them, right? The boss yells at the man. The man doesn't yell at the boss because he's frightened of getting fired, right? We are not honest with people, and we can't get angry with them if we're frightened of them. And your mother was terrifying. Not only did she not love you, she brought home rabid animals to growl and threaten and snap at you continually. She was the source of terror, death threats, danger, handcuffs, stalking, threats, and the incipient scent of murder in the air. So you couldn't get angry at her because her indifference to you and her satanic lusts were putting you in mortal danger. And she knew that. And she didn't care. And you wonder why you have anger at the world? The world is easier to get angry at than your mother. You know who else is easier to get angry at than your mother? Yourself.
So,
Yourself. It's safer. It's safer. That's why I asked, what does your mother think of her parenting? Has your mother ever apologized for terrorizing you with the feral products of her devilish lusts, for bringing in men who threatened to murder you? Because at the very beginning, do you remember saying to me, "Oh yeah, my mom and I were just laughing the other day. Ha ha, we had to move to 50 different places." Do you remember saying that?
yes.
Do you see how disconnected that is from the actual reality of the situation?
Yes.
Why can't you get angry at your mother now? Or for the past 30 years since you became an adult?
I don't know.
Well, if you think about getting angry with your mother now, listen, and please understand, I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just talking about it as a mental exercise. If you think about getting angry at your mother now, or if she was on this call and I was talking to her in this manner, what do you feel when you think about being honest with your mother?
To think about being honest, I'm absent of emotion, and I feel I'll be trying to convey a precise moments of our history.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. Did you teach your children that honesty is a virtue?
Yes, I've always been very honest and wanted the same.
Okay, so you teach your children to tell the truth, right?
Right.
Have you ever said to your children something like this? "I don't care how bad it is, I'll be more upset if you lie to me."
I've said that, yes.
Sure. So tell the truth to me no matter what. I will be the most upset not at what you tell me, but if you lie to me. Does that make sense?
Correct.
Okay. Do you like it in business when people con you or lie to you or steal from you or don't pay their legitimate bills?
Yeah, it's not a nice thing to do.
It's a bad thing, right? So it's very important to tell the truth. The worst thing to do is to lie, right? That's what you tell your children.
Correct.
I mean, if you put a dent in the car, I want you to tell me. If I find out about the dent in the car and found that you lied to me, I would be more upset at the lie than the dent in the car or knocking over the lamp or breaking the fridge or whatever happens, right?
Right.
The worst thing is dishonesty. Now, what if your children don't actively lie to you, but hide things and lie by omission?
Still lying.
It's still lying, and you would rather them tell the truth, right?
Yeah, I've always tried to create a very safe space to just tell me.
Right. So telling the truth to your parents is very important, and lying, either directly or by omission, is one of the worst things, right?
Right.
So why do you not tell the truth to your mother about the negative experiences you had as a child? Is that not lying by omission?
Yeah, I've omitted. I don't. Maybe it's about trying to make her feel worse than she already does.
Well, then you should tell your children that. You should say, "Listen, if you can imagine a scenario where you telling the truth would make me feel bad, I really want you to lie to me." Is that what you tell your kids?
No, of course not.
Okay, so let's not make up this nonsense with your mother. Why don't you tell your mother the truth?
I don't know.
Sure,
think
you do.
I-
Sure, you do. No, you're a smart guy. You've listened to me off and on for a while.
Yeah.
You know why. I'm not saying you know consciously. What is the feeling that comes up? Let's say I had your mom's number. I should have faked this. No, I wouldn't do that. I got your mom's number to patch your mom in, man. We're going to get your mom in on this conversation right now. And we're going to tell her everything that happened to you as a child. And we're going to get these fucking corpses out of the ground and deal with them in the sunlight. When I'm dialing beep, 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 what's happening to your heart? What's happening to your soul?
It's dead. Like,
Well, then
honestly,
hang on. Then there should be no problem telling your mother. In which case, you would have told your mother, because telling the truth to your parents is the most important thing, because that's what you told to your kids. So if you have no fear and there's no negative emotion in doing it, you would have already done it. So you wouldn't be a rank hypocrite by doing the opposite of what you tell your children is the right thing to do. So that's bullshit. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying that deep down, that's bullshit. If it meant nothing to you to tell these things to your mother, you would have told them just on principle. Let's try that again. Beep, 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 beep. Right? Mom's here. And I say, listen, Mrs. So-and-so, we're going to talk about what happened to your son, because there's a lot you don't know about, man. The boys, the men that you brought home threatened his life, threatened to murder him, destroyed property, stalked him, taught him how to kill people at the age of 8. You brought home some serious fucking lunatics, woman, and they fucked up your kid pretty bad. And we're going to talk about it. And what do you feel if I were to say that to your mom?
A bit of relief.
Fantastic.
You say it better.
Then you should go and talk to your mom about this stuff. Because if it's going to make you feel relief and there's no negative emotions, you should get it off your chest. You can't do it. I mean, she's old now, right? Well, no, she's not that old. Sorry. Keep forgetting how young she was as a mother. So, you could get this done. So why haven't you?
I believe it's the situation of her health, and
you've had 30 years.
And I don't know.
30 years you've lied to your mother.
Just say it.
30 years you've lied to your mother, right? And you've withheld the truth of your experience, and you've withheld from her the consequences of her actions. Why? And please, I'm not accusing you. Like, this isn't a, why did you do this terrible thing? I'm genuinely curious. Why would you lie to your mother for 30 years?
I'm thinking, sir. I'm trying to dig deep.
Would you like the answer?
I would like your assessment, yes.
Sure. The answer is, and you're quite right. You're quite right and wise to call that an assessment, not an answer. But I'll call it an answer because I'm pretty confident. Could be wrong, obviously. I could be both confident and wrong. That's philosophy. So the reason you haven't had this conversation is your mother really, really, really doesn't want to have this conversation. And you obey your mother for fear of death by her boyfriends or abandonment by her. You comply with your mother. That's why I was asking earlier about how could you break bread with your grandmother who put your mother through this kind of hell and drove her out into the wilderness and the streets and the assaults and all of that at the age of 13 or 14 and didn't even call the cops. How could you break bread with such a fucking monster? Your mother really doesn't want to have this conversation with you, and you obey your mother. Just as when she says, treat my mother well, treat your grandmother well, don't bring anything up, don't talk about anything, don't criticize her. You're like, okay, Mom, okay. To survive, you lie. I say this with no shred of judgment or criticism. I'm simply pointing out the pattern. It's like me saying, to survive the bear, you run. Right? That's not a judgment. That's just a fact. To survive the shark, you get the fuck out of the water. To survive your mother, you lie. Because your mother has had 30 years to bring this topic up, and she sure as shit doesn't want to. So you don't bring the truth up with your mother because your mother doesn't want the truth, and you have to obey your mother or die. Omerta, right? You have to shut your mouth.
It's very broad.
Yeah. And snitches
get
stitches and wind up in ditches, right? So it's like a crime family. Well, it is a crime family. You're in a crime family. You were born into a crime family.